Hi, my name is Andrew. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at the investor sourcing case study. This is for a client who is looking for targets in SAS, AI, and software sectors. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the background of the database. I'm going to go through a little bit of technical information, how I take a database from being very wide and squeezing it for a refined target list. So let's get started. And now just a little bit about me. I'm Andrew, a fundraising consultant and capital sourcing advisor with 15 years of experience in high-value real estate and investment advisory roles across Canada, Dubai, and the Caribbean. Simply put, I help clients navigate fundraising with clarity, strategy, and targeted outreach. Now, over the past 3 years on Fiverr, I've assisted over 300 clients from tech startups to real estate groups with fundraising strategy, pitch deck refinement, investor outreach, and custom investor databases tailored to their sector, stage, and capital needs. And currently, I'm advising a US-based real estate group on a $50 million equity raise, coordinating strategy and outreach to investment banks, family investment offices, and private equity partners. And on the right-hand side, you can see a few of my Fiverr gigs. You get more information on my services by clicking the Fiverr link below. So this is the ultimate institutional investor database. So it's introducing a rare database of institutional grade investors sourced from my exclusive database of over 400,000 global capital professionals. For the first time ever, this powerful resource is available to help you access capital like never before. So this is a little bit of a different video. This is an investor sourcing case study. As I mentioned, it's SAS, AI, and software combined. Now the video highlights a custom investor search for a venture capital group looking for investors in the following 3 sectors. So what I'm going to do, this is the database targeting workflow. This presentation outlines the screening criteria and targeting process developed to refine the investor universe for a seed and early stage SAS and AI mandate. Now, the structured workflow ensures outreach is focused on the most relevant LPs and co-investors, maximizing efficiency and alignment with the client's investment strategy. So the key database fields, and I'm going to show you the spreadsheet coming up in a little bit. It has contact names, titles, investor type, location, geographic preference, websites, email, sector specialization, investment strategy, and fund descriptions. So we're going to take a look at the top fund strategies that make up the database. So the top 3 are venture capital. That could be refining down to high growth potential and seed, early stage, and growth funding. Private equity and buyout, so that could be strong appetite for established businesses and leveraged deals, or it could be real estate, so that's stable asset-backed opportunities across global and regional markets. There's also some other diversified alternatives, so you could look at infrastructure, direct lending, private credit, special situations, secondaries, fund of funds and co-investment, natural resources and energy, and hybrid multi-strategy funds. So in this database, you're going to see that although it's global and it carries a wide range of funds all the way back to 2007, we're focusing on only 2022 and 2024 for this screening. Why? Well, the deployment cycle. Most venture capital private equity funds begin deploying capital 6 to 12 months post-close, meaning funds raised in 2022 to 2023 are actively investing in 2024 and 2026. So it boils down to also dry powder availability. With a typical 10-year funds, 4 to 5 year investment period, capital will remain available until 2027 and beyond. So the active window is 2025 to 2028, and it's prime time for outreach, as many of these funds are still allocating to new deals. Now, regional nuance could take a little bit of different course here, because Middle East funds, especially family offices and sovereign-linked investors, often operate on more flexible timelines compared to traditional Western GP LP structures. So this makes 2022 to 24 a cohort of funds the strongest targets for founders and groups seeking capital today. And I've got a little bit of a fund lifestyle cycle chart on the right-hand side, so you can see this is going to, if you're looking at this database as a really good source, it'll carry you all the way up until 2028 and beyond. Now, we're going to show you the spreadsheet coming up, but here's how I attacked it, at least from a filtering process. It gets a little bit technical, but I just want to show you the work that goes into taking that database, as I mentioned, from way out here and squeezing it down here. Now that doesn't end the job. That basically delivers the client a really, really good source to start to refine it even more. Because my job is not to work in-house as your your investment advisor. My job is to save you hours and hours and thousands of dollars, getting you to the point where you've got a really refined list and you can start working on it on a case-by-case basis. So obviously in this case we're looking at asset class. We're going to include venture capital, private equity, only if the allocation to early stage of venture capital is confirmed. We're not going to involve real estate, infrastructure, natural resources. So basically I have to go through each of the columns and refine them. Strategy, so this one's a little bit wider. It's venture, early stage, startup, seed. It could be growth, optional if they invest in smaller rounds. It could be funds of funds, hybrids, secondary, special situations, and balanced. So we're going to focus first on pure early stage venture strategies, and we're going to add co-investment friendly categories as a secondary. Geographic preference, really easy in this. This is a North American client. They're based in the U.S. Diversified, multi-regional, so we really want to include the U.S. They're open-minded to expand if required. For example, we could expand it to Europe, Asia, Middle East, Israel, Australasia, Americas, Africa, only if the U.S. Allocation is evident. So really, I think we've got enough weight on the U.S. side of things to satisfy what this client needs. So the status, well, there has to be the raising, first to fifth close, announced, evergreen, open-ended, or estimated. I've removed closed, liquidated, unknown, sixth close, so that's pretty easy filtering there. Fund structured, commingled, standard LP structure, separately managed account only for large strategic LPs. So core industry, so this is one that needs a lot of attention because the client has a history of SAS, AI, tech type of acquisitions, investments. So even though for this one here we haven't nailed down exactly what they're looking to raise capital for as far as company wide, what we have is a wide enough range based on information that they've been given and what I've been able to do research on. So I'm including information technology, business services and IT, healthcare and IT, because I don't know, it could be a SAS, healthcare, it could be diversified, consumer discretionary. Again, these are ones that we can always remove, they can always remove when they do it, and financial and insurance services or fintech. Potential. We're going to exclude non-tech industries, energy, utilities, real estate, raw materials, pure consumer discretion, and without any SAS tech overlap. And industry verticals, so we are going to look at artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, SAS, cloud, big data, fintech, health tech, IoT, software enabled. Optional secondary, blockchain, ed tech, ag tech, robotics, 3D printing, that sort of stuff. But we're going to exclude hardware only or physical asset heavy industries. So the investor type, so we're looking at family offices and basically funds of funds, endowments and federal foundations, RIA managed accounts, pensions. Sovereign wealth funds, only if they're in the U.S., but really they're a tricky one because the ticket stage that they tend to look at is the tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and my sense is that this particular raise is going to be smaller, and we're going to exclude investors without early stage venture capital track record. So as a recap, and I'm going to show you quickly the spreadsheet coming up because in previous videos I've focused a lot on the spreadsheet, but this one here is more on the strategy. So if you really want to understand the dynamics of the spreadsheet, you watch 2 or 3 of the videos before this one. It's a really easy process for you to take a look at. But we started off in 99,200 global funds. Stage 1, we narrowed it down to 24,800 because I'm only focusing really on funds between 2022 and 25. Then the stage 3, because we are very US focused, we squeezed it down to 13,000. 13,000 is still an amazing amount of targets to look through. The final refinement as per the workflow, and this is what takes the longest, at least from my side of it, is that there were 2,688 target investors. Now, when the client receives that, then it's time for them to squeeze that down and say, well, we want to get rid of this. My sense is they're not going to ask me to add any more as a extra layering, because I think we're really at a stage now where they've got really good targets to look after, and they just have to refine a little bit. It might involve them checking out a little bit about their websites, the fund description, doing a little bit more work that was outside of the scope of what I was asked to do. And in addition, what I've done for this client is, you can see number 3 here, this was the filtering we've just been talking about today. So again, 2,688 contacts, 1,800 emails, pre-screened funds with sector focus on SAS, software AI related, includes fund managers, asset classes, strategy, we've seen all that. So I've identified fund managers for co-investments or fund-to-fund allocations. Now, what I also have is what's called off-the-shelf databases, or databases that I've been working on, refining, sometimes for years. The one at the top, number 1, seed investors and angel groups, that's one that I'm going to provide for them as part of this package. It's got 428 seed and 100 angel groups, depending on how much they're looking to raise and the sector. This is a database that is really, really great because it allows you to reach out to angel investors without the manual process of going on LinkedIn and contacting them by one. So that database has got firm, group name, contact names, emails for company only, curated for early stage SAS. So this is a perfect one. And again, they're still going to have to do a little bit more research. None of these databases that I provided are what you would call databases that you're going to automatically send out emails to tomorrow. You've got to really do a little bit more research on them. But again, what I've done is saved you probably several hours and several $1,000s buying databases with stuff that you don't really need. Because remember, we started off with 99,000 funds and we've got it down to 2,600 and change. So that's a great database. And number 2 is the venture capital database. It's 156 just straight off venture capital firms that have SAS and AI specifically as their sectors. So they're really targeted. So they're great, and I would consider those to be fantastic targets as well. The second targets are ones that are added targets, qualified, but they need refining for the SAS, software AI sectors. In other words, I haven't been able to screen them down that much, is because a lot of times it involves a lot of manual work. But to start off with is the RIAs, optional add-on, 3,600 of them. They all have emails. We've got the firm name, vetted senior contacts, so you're talking about CEOs, MDs, presidents, and chief commercial officers. Email, website, no sector screening though. So to expand reach to high net worth investors. Remember, RIAs manage the funds of ultra high net worth investors all over the United States. In fact, the odds are that you're going to find really good targets in that particular group because it's an easy one to make contact to. Then number 5, family investment offices. This is the holy grail of investor target lists. This is what everybody wants. They're really hard to get. I've done a number of videos on how those particular type of databases end up, you buy them, a lot of times you buy them for 3 or 4 firms, 5,000 contacts. Well, I can tell you that 690 contacts came from 2 databases that I acquired that had over 5,000 contacts that said, these are family investment offices. Well, guess what? They weren't. A lot of them were misclassified, so I clicked every single website out of the 5,000. Many of them were outdated. The problem is, too, is when you buy these type of databases, you're buying them from people who have scraped the internet, and that's the worst way to buy a database because you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. You'll get websites that haven't been updated since 2015. So you have to ask yourself, how effective is a target that hasn't updated their website since 2015 or 17 or even 2020? So on these, you've got email, 609 of them, you've got firm name, you've got vetted senior contact, email, some LinkedIn's website, and there's some sector screening, so it's totally not missing out. Now, what I like to say for this particular client, when I looked at what they've done, what they've raised capital for, they're a very experienced venture capital firm. I think that family investment offices, almost all of them will look at them because of the background of this client. So that's why I'm saying, even though it may not say in their description that they're looking at AI, SAS, or software, I still would think that those are good people to contact just because of the client's background and what they've got, what they've been able to raise funds for, and the hot topics today. Obviously, AI is going to help. So this is access to ultra high net worth capital outside the traditional venture capital channels. So what we've got about 7,000 contacts, and we've got about 6,150 emails that go with those. So that's the campaign targets and the work that I've done for this client based on the information that they've given me, without knowing the exact company and even the exact sector which we could do future refining, or they could do future refining based off of this initial database. Now let's take a look at the database. Key database disclosure first. So my extensive database library provides hundreds of thousands of global contacts, typically including profiles, emails, and websites, though not all details are complete. So primarily compiled and updated from 2021 to 25, with most of the updates in the last 2 years. This corporate resource may include contacts whose roles have since changed, and is designed as an excellent starting point for outreach. It's best leveraged and continually refined by organizations with dedicated data teams. That's usually why I say to clients is these databases are only for corporate institutional groups. I don't really do personal sales. If you contact me and you can't tell me that you're with a firm or some kind of company, I'm not interested in dealing with you, because the odds are you're not going to use the database for what it's for. Again, they're not used for spamming. This database comprises a blend of individuals and companies, each with distinct investment criteria and operating conditions. So there's no guarantee your approach will be favorably received. Okay, now I'm going to quickly go through the spreadsheet part of it. If you want a more detailed look at the database, just watch the video previously to this one, because this video focuses more on the process rather than the database itself. But you can see here, here's the master database. You've got 99,000 funds. And if I scroll up to the very top, you can see that they have the dates. Again, this database goes all the way back to 2007. We focus only on 2022 to 2025. So if I go to the 2022 to 2025 screen, you can see we're at around 24,799. Those are the funds that were launched globally. And then from there, we are going to go and take a look at the smaller selection. But another thing I'm going to show you is the amount of contacts. So the database, and this is also what the client will get. They're going to get all the contacts, because these don't just include funds. These are the who's who of the global capital ecosystem. You've got around 412,000 contacts. You've got around 270,000 emails. And this is a perfect resource for especially venture capital, private equity groups who are looking to raise capital for more than just one project. So it gives them a really, really good place to do future research. That's the who's who, again, of the global capital industry. Okay, and finally, so this is the database that has been worked on with the workflow that you saw in the video. It's the funds one only. And you can see we've got 5,758 contacts. Now, there's some multiple contacts, obviously, so that's why the amount that is in the deliverable becomes a little bit lower. And then those screening processes were what was used on the very top of the spreadsheet here. So that's how I did the filtering. Any information on the right side is just more technical, but that's basically the database that would get delivered, plus they would be getting the global contacts, as you saw on the very first one. So all they have to do is cut and paste the fund name into this particular sheet with fund manager, then they can do their searching. Plus they're getting extra. They're getting private equity, you're getting venture capital, you're getting funds, family investment offices as part of this database. So this particular part, the contacts part of it, extends quite a bit further than the funds part. So that's the final part of the screening process for this client. For more information on my databases and fundraising services, click my Fiverr link below. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.